Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss horror. There is a new Netflix horror release that I was really excited about and I'm here to talk to you about it, and that is Incantation.
It's coffee time.
So this film originally released in March 2022, but it just hit Netflix on the 8th of July 2022, which it was at the time where I was in London. I wanted to watch this and review it as soon as I came back from London, but when I came back from London on Monday in the middle of the night, I was really sick and tired, and I have been sick for the last couple of days, as you can probably tell still from my voice, and only yesterday night I was awake enough to watch the film so that I could talk to you guys about it, because when I watch this type of things and I have to review it and I know it, I need to pay extra attention to the film, and yeah, I was just too sick to do it, so this review comes a little bit late, but I hope that you're still interested on hearing my thoughts about the film. As always, it's going to be spoiler free, so I'm gonna let you know if you should watch it or not. This is a Taiwanese horror film directed by Kevin Ko, and it was, you know, one of the Taiwanese horror films that got the most money out of the office box, and it was originally released, like I said, in March 2020, but it got its international kind of release thanks to Netflix in just the 8th of July 2022, so it's still really fresh. The story of the film was inspired by a 2005 incident in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, in which a family claimed that they had been possessed by folk demons, and which resulted in the eldest daughter's death. So I love the fact that this is quite inspired by real events, and it does touch, like many of these films do, on religion and legends, and I really love to explore these things, especially in movies from other countries that I might not know so much about, because I think it adds like a different level on it, and it makes it like extra interesting for me as a viewer to discover these legends. 6 years ago, Lee Ronan is cursed after breaking a religious taboo. Now she must protect her daughter from the consequences of her actions. Our main character Ronan is currently really happy because she is about to be reunited with her daughter. She lost custody of her daughter and now she just got it back, so she's really excited to welcome her home. But as soon as Dodo comes home, she starts to talk about something called the baddies and how she can see them. So this is of course going to put Ronan and her daughter in jeopardy, and we as the viewer need to figure out what can we do to help them. Do you believe in such things as blessings is what Incantation asks the viewer as soon as the movie starts, and it is already engaging you from moment one, and I feel like that is why I really enjoyed this movie overall, because I felt like it was asking for me as a viewer to kind of participate in the movie as well. This Taiwanese horror movie is kind of involving the viewer in trying to help this mother that is going through the exploration of blessings and curses in her mission to save her daughter from a curse. When it comes to the character exploration in the film, obviously Ronan is the one that gets the full character arc and everybody else is kind of like a secondary character in the film. So Ronan 6 years ago was part of some sort of like YouTube channel, some sort of like Ghostbusters that would go and try to prove, you know, that certain legends or certain ghosts like sightings were fake. You know, they kind of have these handheld camera kind of channel in which they go and explore all of these different sites that are supposed to be haunted. They ended up going one time to this remote village where they were performing a ritual, the people there, and it was all about this Buddha mother statue, and during their investigation they disturbed the altar, they disturbed some things, and after that it seems that they have been cursed, and anybody that comes in contact with Ronan is basically doomed. I feel like, you know, the biggest challenge as well was for the actress that plays Ronan to kind of deal with all of the challenges that a found footage film has when it comes to the acting. and also on her role as a struggling mother in all of the drama that involves, because her character goes through a lot of different phases in the film. Her story is told in fragments from the past through flashbacks, and also in the present, where she is currently trying to do anything that she can to save her daughter from this curse. We also see Ronan speaking directly to the camera, asking the viewers for help to help her save her daughter, which is really interesting to see. But also at the same time, I had the feeling in this film that Ronan knew that taking her daughter back into custody was gonna put her in jeopardy, but she didn't even doubt about it, which, you know, it was a little bit something that I had in mind. Like, this woman didn't even consider that taking her home might put her in danger, because it seems like if she's around her, that's when the curse is affecting the child. So I felt like that for me was either like a little plot hole or something that I didn't really understand about the character, because if you love your daughter so much, why would you put her through that only so that she can live with her? You know, you should then sacrifice that and, you know, see your daughter maybe with another family, but at least safe. Also, Ronan is a really conflicted character. She has a lot, you know, to deal with, and I feel like she is doing everything she can in her power to protect her daughter while she's staying with her. And a lot of people are assuming that she's a bad mother because obviously the daughter is, you know, showing signs of things happening to her. And I feel like they didn't quite explore that and really went all out when it comes to that part. I think that was just a little bit brushed, and it would have been nice to see that a little bit more in the film. It could have just helped to flesh out the characters a little bit more in the film, I feel, at least for me. Kevin Ko explained that the Buddha mother, hand gestures, chant symbols, and everything associated with the religion in the film are all fictitious. Most of the budget of the film went to design the props and also design and create all of the statues of the Buddha mother as well, which I think that they did a really great job when it comes to recreate certain scenarios, and I did really enjoy to see the altar and everything kind of related to this Buddha mother. The movie uses this kind of mockumentary format, and obviously everything that you see is being filmed with like regular cameras, with handheld cameras, things like that. Even Ronan gets a camera herself to film her with her daughter reuniting, and in order to create memories for the future. And also Ronan talks to us as viewers, breaking the fourth wall, which is not something that it's new and, you know, that has never been done before, but it was an interesting choice for this film, which I feel like it's thanks to that I ended up enjoying this film so much. The fact that Ronan was talking to us and explaining us what we had to do and explaining us about, or, you know, what she was finding, I think it really engaged me as a viewer and really kept me going, even though the movie was nearly 2 hours long, and it did feel at some point that it could have been slightly edited down. But I feel like because I had that engagement and I was kind of waiting for the next instructions or the next kind of like video targeted to me, it just really kept me really engaged with Ronan's story. However, on the other hand, it is also true that because the whole movie it is shown allegedly through found footage, there were some times though that you were kind of questioning who was really filming at the moment and if it really made sense. You know, there are certain scenes when you were like, who's filming now? Is it the ghost? But I feel like this is something that it is really hard in found footage films, and it can happen at times, but in no way it kind of interrupted my enjoyment of the film. So even though when it comes to the character development and the film in general there is a little bit of flaws here and there, I just feel like this movie deserves some praise. I really love that the movie kind of starts with the protagonist addressing viewers and instructing them to recite a charm while memorizing a religious symbol. That is kind of a really cool and a little bit creative way of breaking that fourth wall that I really enjoyed. The movie starts kind of wholesome. You have a mother that is about to be reunited with her daughter, just regaining custody of her, but it soon turns into a dark, paranormal, kind of supernatural story, and it does get darker and darker. At the very beginning, we are already kind of made aware that Dodo, the daughter, starts to see things that are not there. She talks about the baddies, and they're being a little bit more subtle at the beginning at showing you things. So most of the time you're really like at the edge of your seat trying to figure out what's on the frame, like where can something jump from, or like trying to find the little details on the frame. So it is really engaging like that as well, especially at the beginning, because it's just unsettling. You're still not really seeing much, but it's already putting you kind of like on a state of tension. And it's a very kind of interactive movie if you look at it that way, because we are constantly being reminded that we are part of it, that we're supposed to be helping her, that we're supposed to be kind of like doing what she says. So it's kind of interactive in that way. Incantation also has a lot of gory and body horror moments. Fear not, this is not a slasher, so you know, this is not what you're gonna get. But if you're looking for creepy, disturbing images and some nice and disturbing body horror, which I would recommend you not to eat while watching this film, because it's not gonna be a nice experience for you. I feel like more than super scary, the film is extremely unsettling. At least that's the vibe that I got, and I think it has to do with the way the film was edited and the way the movie is paced. But I feel like even though as well the movie had a lot of tropes that we've seen before, it was such a refreshing, nice watch. Some horror scenes in Incantation often occur through a first-person perspective, sometimes with a transition to the viewpoint of a character or the use of what is framed as video camera footage. There is an area that is called the place you should not enter, and yet our characters decide that it's perfectly fine to go and explore that. Like, can we please not? Like, there is many of these things, you know, in horror movies when you're like, you know, I know you have to go in because otherwise the movie would be over, but it's like so obvious that you should just not go in there. I feel like as we are getting towards the end of the film, that's when the real horror starts, and where there is a lot of more like shocking moments and moments that I was like, oh hell no. So I feel like, you know, they did a good job at building it up as well. However, the scares are more kind of as a shock than really there to scare you. But I feel like just because you are already at the edge of your seat, you know, expecting something to happen, I feel like it's going to manage to scare a lot of people as well. In the recent years, Taiwanese films have focused a lot on religion and urban legends, and this is another example of just that. I would say that this movie could be compared to the TV show that was on Netflix called The Deception, but also to movies like The Ring, obviously, because, you know, you're seeing a tape giving you instructions, things like that. And also to movies like Blair Witch Project. It did have elements of that film as well. I feel this movie is showing us basically that there is still so much to explore and so much that can be done when it comes to found footage films. I feel like a lot of the time they don't get as much love as they should, because people feel like if a movie, you know, the camera is shaky, if the camera is blurry, they cannot be bothered to, you know, to keep watching and feel engaged with the film. But that is kind of like the purpose of these found footage films. They don't have to be perfect, because it is supposed to be believable as well that this is actually found footage. And when you're running with a camera or you're scared for your life, you're not gonna hold still. That's just the way it is. What I also loved about this movie is that it's not just focusing on a legend or some sort of like religious thing that happened, but also on the relationship between a mother and her daughter and the challenges that that has for our main character, especially since she knows that she is cursed herself. I feel like this movie you're gonna enjoy, especially if you don't question too much the main character's choices, because like I said, some things didn't really make sense to me. But I feel like this is a great found footage film. I even gave it 4 out of 5 stars because I think it deserves it. I felt like this was a great entry in the horror genre, in the found footage one, and I have not seen a found footage movie that I enjoyed so much for some time. So I feel like it's a great watch. I feel like you will guys enjoy it. It's also one of the best horror movies that Netflix has added lately, because it has been kind of a miss lately, but this one is definitely worth your time. But keep in mind, this is a found footage film with all that it entails. Yeah, so I just say give it a try, and let me know guys if you watched it what you thought of it, because it's been out now for like a week, so maybe you guys already have caught up with it. So let me know what you thought about it, and thank you guys so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye.